Fishbowl Radio Network inside Globe Life Stadium in Arlington, Texas. This is The Boardroom with JaCoy James Pugh, LaToya Barrow, and Faustina Nkwacha. Executive producer, Cindy B.
Hey.
I did that just for that effect. I just wanted to make y'all laugh. Hey, y'all, it's The Boardroom with Black Women's Wall Street, Inc. This is your girl, JaCoy James Pugh.
All right, it's LaToya Barrow.
And this is Faustina. Welcome to The Boardroom, everyone.
Welcome to The Boardroom. The Three Musketeers back up in this thing. Oh, missing a girl.
Miss you all.
All right. Okay, everybody had a good weekend?
Yeah,
Great
can't
one.
complain.
Busy.
Busy. It's always busy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything fun?
Well, I had a conference last week. Then I was yesterday a guest on the Jonathan Bash Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show. Thank you so much, Jonathan. You are amazing. Had a great time. He's a phenomenal person and designer. So that was fun, different, something new for me.
Exciting.
Scary but exciting.
And you had
I had an
Women
event.
Finish
Yeah, I was. You know what? I was really blessed to be asked to speak at Smart Women Finish First.
Yes, we did.
And it was great because there were young girls in the room, and just being able to pour into them, and just to, just make sure that they understand that they have power, they have a voice, and they can do whatever that they want to do.
Yes,
And
and I saw Carrie was
there.
with you.
Yes,
My baby girl.
That is
You know what?
awesome.
That's awesome. And one of the things I said yesterday is that when we're with our kids, when you all are with your kids, understand that even if they say they're not listening, they're listening.
Right. Yeah.
Because my mom wanted me to learn how to cut pattern, and I said no. But I didn't run away. I stood there and I watched her.
Yeah.
And so that's where my passion for fashion started.
Yeah.
So she's there, she's with you, she's
Yeah.
absorbing. She may not be paying attention,
'Cause
you
she
know.
wouldn't.
Exactly.
Let's keep it
But-
real.
But you know what? It's deposited in her spirit. Just know that.
There we go.
Yes,
Come on,
just know
Christina.
that.
Thank
And
you
when
for
that
that.
entrepreneurial spirit kicks in, the DNA
Sprinkle it
starts to
on.
flare. Woo! Watch out. world.
Watch out,
Watch
y'all.
out.
Yes. All right. So, as we always do, a little girl talk.
Yes.
So let's talk about the boardroom. The boardroom, as you know, it is a platform
Yes.
that is about challenging and disrupting the norm in the business world, giving a voice and permission to the Black female business owner. And so, Faustina, let everybody know about Black Women's Wall Street, Inc. Who are we, what we are about, and what are ways in which they can connect or invest, rather.
Thank you.
Invest.
Invest. I love talking about Black Women's Wall Street Inc. and everything that we do.
Yeah.
Well, we are a 501c3 entrepreneurial development organization, not just a nonprofit. And our mission is to empower Black women aspiring to become business owners by providing financial business training first, financial literacy and education, so that they can impact local and global communities. Listen, we're doing this thing big, and thank you so much for the synchronizing. Appreciate that.
Synchronized with the Olympics.
Listen,
Okay,
yes. And we do talk about investing and not just donating, because when you invest in Black Women's Wall Street Inc., you're also investing in the Black women that we
right.
serve. That's our mission. It's what we do, Black Women's Wall Street Inc. and the Boardroom. And so there are a number of ways to invest. Of course, invest in our show, the Boardroom, right?
let's
Okay.
go. Yes.
We have commercial ad packages you can purchase, help us, support us. We also have our Dear to Inception program, and that's where we focus on pouring into our Black women the fundamental and foundational business principles that we all need to make sure we have in our tool belt, right?
Yes,
Absolutely.
Then we also have the small business consulting services. We're going to be offering that very soon. Stay tuned on. And
Right.
then we also have, like I said, our commercial packages. Invest in us. We also have our Beauty and Brains segment. If you are an entrepreneurial woman and you want to be spotlighted, reach out to us, connect with us. That's what our Beauty and Brains Spotlight segment is about. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. So stay tuned. LaToya, how can they connect with us? Tell us.
Yes, always on our website at www.blackwomenswallstreet.org/the boardroom. Women's is plural and possessive. So make sure you get that. Also on our Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at The Boardroom Radio Show. You can hit us up on Twitter at boardroom_radio and LinkedIn at The Boardroom Radio.
That's what's
In a
up.
nutshell.
In a
Yes.
nutshell.
In a nutshell.
All right. All right. So we're back at it again.
Yes.
We got another powerhouse guest coming to us here with us. Having
studio.
a seat at the table with us at the boardroom.
Yes.
So let me set it up so I can let everybody know who we have here with us. Such a beautiful person inside and out. Kristen Geez. is an adjunct professor, training consultant, TEDx speaker, author, and founder of Advising Generation Z, or known as AGZ, which is a nonprofit social skills mentoring program focused on equipping over not 70, not 700, but 7,000 Gen Z and millennials with leadership opportunities in Texas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana, providing programs in 23 school districts, 10 municipal courts, and 2 detention centers in the above states. All right. Now, Kristen, she holds a BS in ethical leadership, MD in MED in leadership and development, and currently pursuing her PhD in strategic leadership. And her mission is to empower people of all ages to unlock and increase their leadership potential. All right, without further, what's up, girl?
You had me at that adjunct professor.
That's
oh,
it.
my Lord.
Okay, so listen, they say surround yourself around people who are smarter than you, honey. Okay, I will take a back seat to that.
Your network is what? Your network.
Right.
Yeah.
So without further ado, the lovely Kristen Geez.
Welcome.
It was so nice hearing you read all that. I'm like, yeah, I am her.
Yes.
Y'all.
Yes.
Okay.
Come on now, because we
Yeah.
were talking about this before. We were like, listen, the caliber of person that you are, you
Yes.
having a seat at this table, we're not just bringing anybody
No.
to have a seat at the table.
No.
Like, you are doing it, girl. Okay? And so we just tip our hat to you and what it is
Professor.
that you are doing. Professor, right. So, Kristen, who is Kristen Geez? Tell, what do you want people to know about who you are?
You know, it's interesting. When COVID first hit, I had to really do some questioning on my own identity when schools shut down and
Yeah.
programs and all of the things that you just read were put on pause for
Right.
me. And one of the things that I've been building myself up to remember is that it's great to have all of these accolades and all of these accomplishments, but I don't want to get so focused on always achieving that I don't live. And so recently something, if you guys follow me on social media, you know that I'm obsessed with llamas. So that's definitely a thing within itself, right?
Yeah.
His name's Levi, and I also am dating now. So my boyfriend's here in the studio, which is great.
boyfriend.
AKA the moon, AKA the moon in my world. But yeah, so I think one of the things besides being super focused and in my 30s is just realizing that I also need to have time to have fun. I've been so careful of making sure that I don't make any wrong decisions, and I'm so serious about governing the gift that God has given me as far as leading and coaching, but just making sure that I have some time to relax. So really learning how to do what every woman has learned how to do, right? Of balance.
Yes.
It's
Absolutely.
easier said than done.
Work-life.
Yeah, and it's something that it's important. Like, you really have to make the time, not only to do and make all of these things happen in your life from a business perspective, but you actually have to spend time on yourself, with family, with friends, with boo. Hey, boo! Hey, boo! Over here, he blushing, y'all.
I wish y'all could see him.
But we'll get off of that. But you're right. You have to balance it all. It is a
It is a
balance.
thing, and I can totally see myself in that because I was that person too. I'm like, what do I have to do? What do I have to get done? I'm always going. Never any fun though, and so you do have to take a step back to breathe and let your mind, just like, okay,
Relax.
it's okay. I can have fun. I can do me. So congratulations to you on that for doing that, especially young. So when you get older, you won't have such a problem doing that, and I call it prioritizing time, right?
And I think one thing I want to add is be patient with yourself and be okay with the decisions that you make, and definitely be okay with saying no.
Right.
No is a complete
No.
sentence.
Yes.
I'm learning
No
that.
explanations needed. No, not today. Check my calendar. Maybe next year. But as right now, that's a no. But
All right,
thank
so I'm
you.
gonna give you a question about your company, okay? So we all know that children are the future, right? So what sparked your interest in focusing on Gen Z specifically, and as far as their misguided leaders? Because I've heard you speak on several things about your business. So explain that a little bit, and then explain what age group Gen Z is for those who may not know who that is.
Right. So age Gen Z would be anybody that is 22 and under right now.
That's me,
Okay.
right here.
22 and under. I can see we all have that vibrantness in us, right? 22 and under right now.
What?
not.
Go ahead, Kristen.
And
Go
she
Mike.
still
Go
was
Mike.
Ah, she does. That's why I'm like, why are y'all laughing?
I'm sorry.
I am. I'm here. Come on.
I complimented you as soon as I walked in, so your
Here,
fashion hasn't left
listen,
me.
all I did was laugh. That's all I did. Okay, so
Go ahead,
Gen Z.
Kristen. Come on.
Okay.
Silly.
Go ahead.
So 22 and under right now, and I'm a millennial, I'm 31, and I started my company when I was 21, and my goal all through high school was to do modeling. I was obsessed. I knew that that's what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I knew that I was going to be in front of Tyra Banks one day, and she would be like, you are America's Next Top Model.
That's
and
it.
I just knew that that was
Oh,
going to
yeah.
happen for me.
Right.
And so when I graduated high school, I never actually planned on going to college. So I had lied to my mom, and for those of you that don't know her, my mother is a very proactive mother, so I did a lot of lying that year of making her think that I had applied to one of the 7 colleges she had taken me on a tour to visit.
Wow.
So she had given me the money, I had saved it, and I had paid for me to get an apartment because I just knew I was going to be I just knew, okay? It was just in my
Bad
destiny.
girl.
So yeah, I was definitely a troublemaker in school. And so when I graduated, summer hit and spring came. My birthday's in September, and it was like maybe a week before. My mom finally came home, and she said, you know, Kristen, when do you plan to go to one of these colleges? Like, everybody else's kid is leaving. What are you planning to do? And I was like, oh, yeah, about that. I applied. You know, I'll be 18 in a week. So I'm actually going to be a model. And this agency already said that they would pick me up and they would pay me. And I don't have to wait for you anymore because next week I'm going to be 18. So my mother left, and I was very surprised that she left the house. I didn't get hit or nothing, you know.
Wow.
And I went out with my friends, and I came home, and all of my aunties and uncles were at my house. My mom's the youngest of 9, and so I pull up, and they're moving stuff out of my room, and I'm like, Mom, are we spring cleaning? What's happening?
Boy, that was the look. That sounded like the original pull-up.
Yeah.
Pull-up.
It was a real
Original.
gangster moment.
OG.
Yeah, and so my mom then politely let me know, oh, I found a college for you to go to, and they said if I could get you there today,
Not tomorrow.
today,
Wow.
that you will be attending their school, and they'll let you in even though you're 2 weeks late from school. And so that whole experience of going to Wiley, which I graduated HBCU, so I'm all about it.
Nice.
But when I tell you that experience of getting to college, and it was never really my choice, I was always the kid that was getting in trouble, definitely always a leader, but at the time didn't know how to use my potential. And I think going to school, still pursuing modeling, and still trying to, I wasn't in school because I wanted to. It was a requirement in order for me to come home. So when I turned 18, I was still modeling, so I wasn't even at school the first 2 years. I was doing what I wanted to do, flying around, doing my thing. And at that point, not talking to my family because I was so adamant that this is what I wanted to do. And when it finally hit home to me, I remember one day specifically, I was out on stage doing a modeling event, and someone out of the audience, his name is Dan, he came up to me and he said, you know, Kristen, you're the only black model that they have a part of this agency, and I don't think you know that this picture that they have of you online, I defended you, and there's thousands of Caucasian people not defending you, but I defended you. And so when he said that to me as a young woman, and him being a black man, I'm like, he just wants to get backstage, or he just wants something. I really didn't even take him serious.
Sure.
Went away, changed clothes, came back out, and he said, hey, I went and got my iPad because I don't think that you know what I'm talking about. And so he showed me a photo shoot with me. I had signed to an agency. There was 12 girls, so each of us was a day of the month or a month, had our own monthly calendar, and I was the black girl that they had on that team. And he showed me a picture of me online. It wasn't naked or anything. I didn't do anything too crazy. My mama was already not talking to me. But I saw this picture of me in a half shot, and you know when you take shots and it's multiple, they're not all going to be cute, right? Some of them are ugly. And so they posted this picture of me, and you could rate the girls of what you thought they rated. And so people were writing underneath, calling me a horse, saying I was ugly, saying if this is the first black girl you guys are going to ever choose, why her, right? I'm reading thousands and thousands of comments on a website that I knew nothing about. But guess who would have known about it? My mama, if she read my contract. But because I was 18 and because I didn't ask any questions and I wanted to be grown, I didn't realize any picture that they decide they want to put of me online is their choice to put online, and I don't get a say so. And I didn't even know about this website, that at this point I had signed a 3-year contract and I was in 2 years with them. Never even knew about this website.
Wow.
So I remember finally flying back home, coming home, crying to my mom and, you know, asking for apologies and how can you get me out of this contract, and her kind of reading it and saying, baby, you got to stick to that now. I mean, they own the rights to those photos. There's no way that I can get you out of that. You shouldn't have signed this contract. But at the same time, go back and visit your mentor. And so my mentor, Dr. Parker, was my ex-high school principal at the time. And so I went back to Parker, and when I came, because I had at this point was used to modeling, when I walked in, you know, there was a light where kids were just walking up to me, you know, quickly. And in the mix of that, that's when I realized when I walked on her campus, how many girls ran up to me and said, I want to be you. I want to be a model. I want to do what you're doing. And little did they know, I was here to beg, what can I do? Because this ain't it. Yeah, I'm making money, but it ain't it.
So going back to what LaToya was saying, so is that really what kind of fueled the passion behind Gen Z, advising Gen Z?
Exactly. I wanted to make sure I gave them every single lesson that no one gave me, because we came from a different age group of where my mom's generation, although she loved me, she never explained why she wanted me to get an education.
Right.
It was, you a child, you do what I tell you.
Do what I say, child. Ooh,
Right.
these black
That's
kids, these black families, y'all. We done all heard
We
it.
got to do
And
better.
the look.
We got to do better.
Right. No, that is a powerful story. Thank you for sharing that. And that really gives insight into who you are, how you were raised, and then the things that you had to walk through. You had to experience that for yourself. And a lot of times we do.
Absolutely.
You know, experience is the best teacher.
It is.
Christina,
And
what
look,
about?
for me, it's going from that to adjunct professor. I just like saying that. I really just break that down for us. What is an adjunct professor, and what led you to that path?
Yeah, I think attending Wiley was definitely, I just remember, even though I wasn't taking my education serious at the time, when I finally realized how important it was, I had actually dropped out of school, was still doing, was stuck into doing the modeling. And when I started visiting the old high school and really interacting with girls, I realized I wanted to write down every lesson I didn't learn, and I turned that into curriculum writing. And I remember, wasn't even planning on going back to college, but Alvina Jones, who's the Dean of Admissions at Wiley, and she's still there, she contacted me and said, hey, Kristen, we're starting an online program. This is the first cohort we'll ever have. I don't know why, but you've been in my spirit to call you. Out of all the kids that were here, we're only going to take 20 that will graduate online. If you decide you want to do your last 2 years at Wiley, I'm letting you know that you can be a part of that program, and you can start back where you just left off when you dropped out in your sophomore year. And so I did, and I remember even through my online classes, that was the first time that I experienced as a Black person, and especially as a woman, where I was around so many older people that wanted me to succeed, not because it had anything to do with them, but because they wanted me to succeed, and they're encouraging. And I always told myself, okay, when I feel like I have halfway made it to these goals that I have and these aspirations, I want to be able to give that opportunity, and I would love to be able to go back and teach at Wiley. And so the road to doing that is your PhD, and before you can get to a 4-year school. And so I'm grateful for TCC for allowing me to start my journey there. And I just actually sent an email to Wiley this morning, and they're like, baby, you don't have to be an adjunct professor, just come here. So that's really how we got there, of just me remembering that experience when I was between 21 and 24, and how long it took me to get that degree, but I did it online in their support.
Very
That's
nice.
amazing. I love that.
I am just floored. I don't know, because I see a lot of like my daughter in you. Just listening to the stories, like, I'm just gonna do what I want to do. Like, I'm just gonna do whatever it is I want to do.
Just gotta fall.
But I mean, and that's just real.
Yeah, it's just
that
real.
is just real, and that really doesn't have any. It's not specific to any race, It's not specific to any culture. But I just think that we all grow up, and it's like, hey, I just want to do what it is that I want to do, and sometimes we think that we know what's best for ourselves.
Yeah.
And I know I dealt with that a little bit myself, but it's one of those things where if you're gonna make that decision, you've got to walk through those doors and say, okay, you make that decision, now you've got to deal with it. Or what is it that we say, you make your bed, now you've got to lie in it.
Yep.
Right.
But the other thing too, Jacoy, is sometimes those things, the mistakes you make, the path that you do take, it leads you to your purpose.
Right.
True.
And your purpose sometimes leads you to your business and entrepreneurship. So sometimes we just have to go through that. We really do. Yeah. So that's an amazing story. I love that. Yeah. So everyone out there listening, listen. Follow your dreams, but you also have to be smart about what you do and have a plan B. So if you fall flat on your face, you know how to get back up, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And so the thing that I want people to know, with the title of today's show, The Circle of Success, you said something a moment ago, is that you recognize that other people were wanting you to succeed. They had no hidden agendas,
whatsoever.
Right? No ulterior motives. They wanted you to succeed. And so that's at that point where the light bulb came on for you. So would you say that a lot of that is what helped to kind of push you to that next level?
Absolutely. And I think even now at 31, I'm still humble whenever I can talk to someone who's seasoned. Seasoned is my word, not old. But I love whenever I can hear and glean from their experience and then flip that into something that makes sense for my kids. I definitely believe that you have to have a center of influence. I don't make any major decision without having allies that I know who are wiser, some who are spiritually connected, some that can help me mentally and just even physically, or just being there for support. That has definitely helped. And I think making bad decisions sometimes when you're very stern about it leads to your purpose, exactly what you said. You know, during those years that I did get that opportunity to model, I learned how to carry myself. There's no way I could get on stages doing half of the things that I'm doing now if I didn't have that training and that coaching. And also why I'm very serious about my photos. So I read forms now and contracts now. But when I think about how many contracts I'm in now, I know all of the loopholes. And I also took that as an opportunity to say, I will never walk in a room where someone tells me to be silent and tells me that we just hired you to be pretty.
So pause right there.
Yes.
Let's pause right there. So we're going to go into a commercial break because you're hitting on some really good nuggets right there. And we want to dive into it a little bit more. So we're going to go to a commercial. So thank you for being here with us in the boardroom with Black Women's Wall Street, Inc., where you will always have a seat at the table.
Empowering Black women business owners. It's the Boardroom.
Tailor-Made Consulting Group is your partner when it comes to business consulting. We will provide your business with a variety of tools that can be used to accomplish day-to-day and long-term business goals and objectives. We have specialists that can assist your company with cloud services, digital marketing, business plan development, videography and photography services, business entity formation, search engine optimization, graphic design, web design, printing, and much, much more. We take pride in the relationships we build with our clients, the personalized services we provide our clients, and the results delivered to our clients. We are Google Cloud Partners, Google Resellers, and Google Certified to get you on the first page of Google. Visit Tailor-Made Consulting Group at BeMyConsultant.com. Try our business scan tool and see your online visibility score for free. Or you can contact us with promo code BWWS for 1 hour of business consulting for free. Visit Tailor-Made Consulting Group at BeMyConsultant.com. Again, check us out at BeMyConsultant.com today.
Experience life beyond shea butter with Nappy and Happy Bath and Body products. Nappy and Happy is a premium organic bath and body brand specializing in vegan products infused with organic erotic butters and oils. With our handmade soaps, soufflés, luxurious lotions, body sprays, and more made for women and men. Nappy and Happy's Wet Whip Body Polish is infused with a skin-loving blend of Brazilian Cupuaçu butter straight from the Amazonian rainforest with our tropical organic mango butter scented with a delicate blend of orange blossoms and citrus notes that are dried down to a soft and powdery fragrant finish. If you're looking for something to pamper your body, we have exactly what you need. Experience life beyond shea butter with Nappy and Happy premium organic bath and body products. Available now at www.nappyandhappy.com.
Back to the Boardroom with Black Women's Wall Street Incorporated.
Hey, 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 you're back with the boardroom with Black Women's Wall Street Incorporated. This is Jacoy James Pugh.
And this is Latoya.
And Festina Nkwacha, welcome back to the Boardroom.
Welcome back. All right. Anybody following us online on social media? Who's checking in with us?
Let's see. Okay. My mama, she always on Gwen.
Hey, Miss
Hey,
Gwen.
Mama
She always
Gwen.
on there. All right, we got a Terry. Thank you, Terry, for watching.
Hey,
Terry who?
Terry Simpson.
Terry
All right.
Simpson,
Hey,
hello.
Terry.
All right, so we got a Pat Esther Emerson.
Hey, Pat.
Hey,
Pat's always
Pat.
on supporting us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you so much. And we have a James Rowe.
Oh,
Thank you,
James. So
Rowe.
we have been supporting us too.
We do.
Thank you so much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate that,
Thank
Black
you,
women.
thank you.
Thank you.
It's just always great.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. And that's about wrapping it up.
All right.
Well,
Well,
thank y'all.
Hey, thank y'all for following and tell others to like, follow, and share. All right. So earlier we were talking, and we're going to continue the conversation with the amazing Kristen Geez. She was talking and actually just giving some really good nuggets. One thing that you said right before we went to break, Kristen, is you were talking about that you found your voice in a sense, and that you were no longer going to be silent. So finish that up for us, and where you that situation where that was that pivotal moment for you.
Yeah, absolutely. When I actually went and told the agency about the photograph that was online before calling my mom, I remember going backstage and I was crying, and I remember the man at the time, and he said, you know, Kristen, we hired you to be pretty. We didn't hire you to get a voice. We didn't hire you to be an investigator, so why are you online investigating? Your job is to be pretty, so go do what I hired you to do. And I remember walking out there and standing with the other girls, and at the time, you know, all of them had a different reason why they were modeling, right? I really didn't know. It was just what I said I wanted to do. I knew that my dad wasn't in my life, and I figured if I could be in a space where he would have to see me, my idea was like, I'm going to be on a Just For Me commercial, and he going to see me, and it's going to be just for me, right? Like that was the childhood thing that I came up with. So now as an adult, I started questioning why exactly I was doing what I was doing. And then, like I said, all of them were either in school or looking to get married and, you know, wanting to be in the right space with the right guy. Nothing wrong with that, but I didn't have an agenda. And I remember leaving that moment thinking, I don't ever want someone to tell me that.
Right.
And
so our show focuses on challenging and disrupting the norm in the business world, giving a voice and permission to the Black female business owner. So in your opinion, what is one way that we as Black women can challenge and disrupt what is currently happening in the business world?
I think even in that situation, in every situation for Black women, the first thing that we have to do is realize that we are enough. I think we hear that often, and then you get out into those opportunities and you still walk away and be silent. I know one of the other things is when you do achieve and you start accomplishing, for some reason we've adopted this norm that we need to now undermine these accomplishments, right? To make other people feel comfortable. And
Shrink.
I think in that moment,
Shrinking ourselves.
In
I'm
the-
sorry,
yeah.
but that's a real deal
It's
right
true.
there, girl. That's real. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And even just getting to the place where you put your accolades online and then someone else says, oh, I see you doing your thing, right? Like that's even shade. Correct somebody the minute that they say that to you. Or when I have people that'll say like, oh, I see you accomplishing all those things, and then reminding them, I have the same 24 hours in a day that you did. Just because I made the discipline or I was sacrificed, now we're not going to have this conversation. So I really try to be serious about my energy when I'm not on. You know, there's moments when you need to be a boss and moments when you need to just be, you know, fun.
Right.
But I just try to protect my energy. And in those moments when I feel something is wrong, I disassociate myself, because that's another power. I think sometimes you assume that you have to be associating with certain people when you really don't, including a job.
And the mic has been dropped. Next.
Unapologetically so.
Next.
I am telling you, girl, you are dropping some serious
Nuggets.
nuggets. Okay, so back on Gen Z. In your professional opinion, how does Gen Z compare to the millennials? I'm a millennial too, girl. And so give us some similarities and some differences.
Yeah, you know, one of the things I like to say to my students is I think they're better than us. We've worked really hard, and not just millennials, but even the generations that came before us have worked really hard to give them that voice and give them the opportunity to feel empowered. So I think this generation, the fact that they are able to graduate high school with an associate's degree and their high school diploma before being 18, and even being able to graduate with their associate's degree and in some cases their bachelor's degree at 21, 24. So education has definitely become more accessible to them, right? I also think that they don't have a problem studying their craft. This is a generation that if they like gaming or anything that they like, they will obsessive on it, right? Whether even if it's binge watching, they know how to consistently stay in the loop of what it is that they're wanting to do. I think the difference between generations is that millennials fought really hard to make sure that they had a voice so that they could do those things, right? I think as a millennial, something that we all do really well and struggle is that when it comes to a position of authority, we're very much like, oh no, I want to, you know, do this my own way and I'm independent and I don't need your help, right? Which sometimes that's really good, because I think we do need to challenge the older generations to allow us to have an opportunity. And at some point, you guys are going to retire, you got to pass the baton, right? But I think an area that millennials could work better at is learning that sometimes it's important for you to study why it is that they hold the baton in the first place. I think the only reason why I've been successful at my age is because I've taken some time with some of those people who are seasoned in different careers and been able to humble myself and say, I don't know what I'm doing. Let me not come to the table and act like I got it together. I literally have no idea what I'm supposed to do. Can you read this document? Can you tell me what you would do? And you've got to learn how to filter those conversations. So any millennial that's listening, or even someone who's managing a young workforce, you have to be able to, one, pass that baton to them and actually coach them. Don't invite them to the board meeting as an intern.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Invite them to the board meeting and pay them the money that they're owed. And also, if you want to have that legacy, allow them to be able to use your name when they're going into rooms. Tell them why it is that you're secretive. Don't be in a position where you're always threatened and then assume that no one is there to pass the baton. And don't make us, you know, fight for the same rights that you have as your kid, because we're not your children. You got to give us an opportunity and speak to us like an adult, and we've got to be able to receive the information that you give.
All right, employers, y'all hearing that?
Yeah.
Because I'm also hearing that, you know, too, that you're saying access. They have more access, and it's
Access.
accessible as far as
Yes.
their education is concerned. So, and I know I dealt with this too because I have a bachelor's degree in health service administration. So when you look at that field, they're like, oh, well, you have to have like 7 years worth of, work experience plus a master's degree plus this, and that. So it's just like, now I'm listening. If someone they're 18 years old, they have a high school diploma, but I also have a bachelor's degree, or I also have an associate's degree, then why would y'all make the requirements or qualifications be that demanding?
When it took some of y'all years with a
Yes.
kid and a baby, you
I'm
know what I'm
just
saying? A
saying.
husband and a wife. I mean, not to throw shade, but it's
But
kind of
no,
why do I
seriously.
have to adopt your struggles?
Right. We
Yeah.
shouldn't have to adopt those struggles. They need to make sure that they are adapting as our society is adapting. If you're making education more accessible, then you need to make jobs more accessible. That's what I'm
You know
hearing.
what, Kristen, you said a couple of things, and one for me was passing the baton and legacy.
Yeah.
That's a whole other show, a whole other conversation that could take us into politics. But here I want us to pivot and talk about entrepreneurship because that's about a mindset and a spirit. So, you talk about strategic leadership and ethical leadership. What are the two, and why are they both important in
Yeah.
developing a leader?
For entrepreneurs and just in any business, I think when you talk about ethics, you're talking about what's right and wrong, right? So if we were really ethical leaders, we wouldn't have to still talk about diversity and inclusion at this point, right?
And equity.
And equity, right? We would already be there. And so I think even as you start to make decisions, that it's not about what makes me look good as a leader, right? I think when you have leaders that are more self-serving, that's where you have more issues, and it just starts to be a trickle-down effect. And so the reason why I chose to do the degree in strategic leadership is because when we talk about Gen Z in any age group, their first experience as a manager or having access to a manager is their teacher, right? It is the judge that makes the decision on their life. It is their first job. And so if we don't find a way to bridge the gaps between education and the criminal justice department, we're going to lose this generation when it comes to getting jobs, especially if we set them up where they graduate with having both of those degrees, but yet you still get your first job, and before you can get a real paycheck, you need 7 years of experience
Yeah.
when you're
Like,
probably
really?
being interviewed by someone who doesn't even have those type of degrees. And then you watch the way that they lead, right? How are they secretive? Do they play favoritism? Is there a way where they steal your work? Because that happens, and that has
Yes.
happened to me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Where you're young and naive and you think this person wants to help you, but really they've tapped out of ideas. So you're coming here sharing all of the good, not even knowing you're sharing, and you're like, yes, this person's going to help me, and then they go ghost.
Right.
Right? So I think finding that different balance, but I would definitely say ethical leadership is really just about your character, and strategic leadership is to be able to look at an organization or look at your business in a way that's going to go past the next 5 to 10 years.
I love that. And leadership is great, but servant leadership is really what it's about. And I love the fact, everything that you've said, and I, you know what, I co-sign all of that. Thank you so much. Yes, yes.
So you touched on something, when we were talking about, and essentially we're talking about, ethics, we're talking about integrity, and it was something that I had the opportunity to talk to some ladies about, and it was 4 key things that I talked about is, impression. So your first impression is your lasting impression. So impression, talked about initiative, integrity, and then intentionality. And so with all of that, and understanding all of those key pieces and saying, hey, how is it that we can help the younger generation to really understand that it's not that we are just beating them over the head and just say, do what I say, not as I do, but what are some ways in which your organization is helping to solidify that message and say, hey, understand about your first impression being your lasting impression, and being the one to take initiative, and being a person that's operating from a place of integrity, but then also being intentional. What are ways in which what you're offering with your organization and helping to further that message to the group that you're serving?
Yeah, I think the first thing that I realized, I've been doing this for 9 years, but that I realized 3 years ago is it's great to be able to bring that message to the child, but it's really going to be the adults that see them on a daily basis. So the real conversation has to be, how can we assist you in bringing up those difficult topics that you have been taught in the past, baby boomer, Gen Xer, to sweep under the rug and not talk about it and deal with it. And you just got to deal with what it is. You just got to get
Right.
tough.
Yeah.
We can't bring this generation back to school and not talk about what they've seen for the last 14 months, which could go into all sorts of things, right? But what they've seen on the public level is that people that are in leadership get to hold off and wait before they get their consequences for an action. So we can't bring this generation back, and even parents bring this generation back to school or to expect them to go back into the world, and we don't address those hard topics. So one of the things that we've done is created a digital series that assists school districts, that assists judges, and even in the detention center to be able to talk about some of those heavy conversations that maybe they don't want to talk about because it makes them feel uncomfortable. This generation hasn't been shielded. There's no show, no TV show, no celebrity, no social media page that doesn't cover some of these difficult topics that we are afraid to talk about in our homes or in our classrooms. And so having those conversations has been helpful.
Yeah. And speaking on staying with leaders or leadership, in your opinion, do you believe that leaders are born, or that they are called, or that they are built? And why do you feel that way?
I think leaders are built. I think we all have a leadership potential in us. You know, I'm spiritual, so I believe that God gave us all gifts. Now, whether your gift is to be the person behind the scenes or to be the person in front, both come with a responsibility, both come with a privilege and a burden. I think for this generation, and especially just as adults in general, I think we all want to be in the forefront. But the real leadership is when you have done the work and you can sit back and give somebody else an opportunity, right?
I dig it.
When you're able to say, you know what, I've done enough. Let me pass you something. That's when you really are a leader, and that's when you get people to respect you, and that's ultimately what all of us want, right? So I definitely think it's something that's built, but I think all of us have it in us, and it's just brewing, waiting for somebody to give us that opportunity to bubble over. And I also think when we're talking about being an entrepreneur, that is not to me something that you just make up and you wake up. You got to build and you got to be committed, because there are going to be moments when you don't get any accolades or get a paycheck, and you've got to decide. And when you get to a position where you're actually managing people's lives, COVID was real, but before COVID, writing checks when people are depending on you is no, let me call so-and-so about the lights. No, baby, you are the lights. You know what I mean? All of the lights. Yeah, you are all of the spaces. And so even as you talk about being a leader in entrepreneurship, the goal is always to have other people do the work, but that's the real responsibility, because now you're managing people's ideas, right? But then you're also having to be like, how am I going to get to the money? Because now I've got to really learn how to finesse to get you to go after my dream without you looking at it like, oh, I'm making you win, right? Right. Every job you've worked at, there is an entrepreneur. You just how close you have access to that entrepreneur is the part that's important.
I totally dig it.
I am just enjoying this.
Me too.
Y'all,
Oh my
I hope
goodness.
y'all got pens and papers writing all this stuff down, because it's too good to be true.
And if not, check out the replay. Be sure to like, follow, and share.
And if you have a question for Kristen, hit us up. Too. Yes,
Yes,
because this is good.
So one thing I want to jump to is, again, for the children. I'm always for the children. So for the ones that do plan to go to college, what is one piece of advice that you feel will carry them a long way?
Find your center of influence. I think at every age group, you need to find at least 5 people in your life that are outside of your family that are going to help you. So to me, when you get to college, the first thing that I say is you need to find somebody older than you. So that means find a senior if you're a freshman that is going in the career that you want, that is out on campus. Find somebody that's in the grade level right underneath that, because eventually that senior will leave and you'll need somebody that's going to then help you carry the way, right? And then you need to find somebody that actually works for the campus, not just your counselor, because let's be honest, as much as I love counselors, they have a very big job and they have such a big caseload. Giving you that individual attention is unrealistic. So you need to find somebody who's in a hideaway position. Find your librarian. Find somebody who who's worked on campus, who normally doesn't get asked, because they can give you the undivided attention and they can open their door when you need to cry about what's going on with you in life, right? And then you need to find some people that are outside of your school. Social media is so relevant. Get on LinkedIn. There should be nobody in the industry that you want to go in who's at a top tier position that you don't know and you don't follow. Reach out to that person, follow, copy all of their things, because you never know by the time you get to your sophomore, junior year, or even senior year, if you continue to post and write on their comments, they might give you a job without you having to look. LinkedIn should be the #1 place that you're on a daily basis before you get to Instagram, Twitter, and all of that, because that has nothing to do with who's actually making decisions in the world. Those people are on LinkedIn. Follow them, copy them, see what it is that they're doing.
Okay, she's dropped about 1,000 nuggets so far, and we're not even finished. Okay, and one of the things that you also do is you're a training consultant. And for me, training is important because it's about people's passion, purpose, and potential, particularly potential. And a lot of times people on the job don't have anyone to look at what they can actually do other than what they're doing on the job. Just like with what happened to you, they said they brought you on just to look pretty when they didn't realize that you have so much more to offer. So what information and what assistance do you provide your clients that help them to become better leaders and managers of people? Just tell us briefly.
Yeah, so I actually just train practitioners. So that would mean anybody that's working in education or in corporate that's going to be working and managing this generation. Just talking about how you can manage your multi-generational workforce, but then also saying, how can I relate to them? Because it's different to just manage them and have people running and doing, but you want them to respect you. And when we look at organizations, millennials get a bad name, right? We're always leaving the job. Brand loyalty has died. But the real reason why it dies is because we don't like our leaders. So if you can't be transparent about areas where you have failed as a leader, right? There's definitely some successful moments. But the majority, if you look at how many of your young people have left you, somewhere you have failed and you are failing, right? And as an organization, having those conversations and facilitating what that looks like has been one. And then for practitioners, just really talking about how to connect with parents and get parents to understand we both don't know what we're doing, so the responsibility can't just be me. This generation needs us to give voices to that younger generation, to those young millennials who are here. How can I step aside without stepping completely out of the equation and empower my team to be able to do what I've hired them to do, which is to connect with this young generation.
Oh,
Servant
Kristen,
leadership in a nutshell, right there. Okay?
Kristen,
that was
right.
No words.
Speechless, just
No
speechless.
words.
So, Kristen, I wish we had more time. I really do. You really have poured into anyone that is listening, and you have such a rich passion and even explanation behind everything that we're talking about here, and that I truly appreciate that. So please tell people how they can get in contact with you and stay in contact with you.
Yeah, visit our website, advisinggenerationz.com. If you want to have a meeting with me or have a conversation, as soon as you get to our website, there's an area that takes you to my calendar. I've actually left every Monday open to speak to people in the community because I know that I will only be the best advocate I can be if I just continue to allow myself to be open. So feel free to book that time. Find me on Kristen Geez on everything. And
She is
She's a
intentional,
strategist.
y'all.
Intentional,
All right.
yes.
All right, so we're going to take a break here. Thank you again for hanging out with us in the boardroom with Black Women's Wall Street, Inc., where you will always have a seat at the table.
You're inside the boardroom with Black Women's Wall Street Incorporated.
If you love soul food the way I do, then Miss Mary's Southern Kitchen is where you want to go. Their new location is at 605 North Denton Tap and Highway 121 in Coppell, Texas. Not in the mood to cook dinner? Then place your order at www.missmaryssouthernkitchen.com or drive through on your way home. That's right. Miss Mary's Southern Kitchen has the only drive-through window for soul food in Dallas. Whether you're dining in or using their drive-thru, you can order their fried chicken or catfish. You can't forget about their sides like collard greens, candied yams, and the best mac and cheese ever. And Miss Mary's desserts are made from scratch, and you want to try her butter cake. It's worth breaking your diet for. Let Miss Mary's Southern Kitchen make dinner for your family tonight or cater your next event. Order at www.missmaryssouthernkitchen.com or use the drive-thru at their new location at 605 North Denton Tap Road and Highway 121 in Coppell. That's Miss Mary's Southern Kitchen.
You've been looking for fabulous eyewear. Look no further. I Do Eyewear has fashionable optical quality eyewear at a price that allows you to have several pairs to complement your style choice of the day or moment. I Do Eyewear provides fashionable and affordable optical quality eyewear and sunglasses with impeccable customer service while also contributing and giving back to our community. We believe everyone should look stylish, glamorous, funky, or fantastically unique without it costing a fortune. Our mission is dedicated to those committed to fashion or who want to be. We accept flexible spending, healthcare accounts, and we also have a program where we'll mail you some frames to try on before making your final selection. The first thing people see when they look at you is your eyewear or sunglasses, so you might as well show up with your strong eyewear game. Contact us at www.idoeyewear.com or call us 1254-EYEWEAR. That's 1254-EYEWEAR. We look forward to framing you.
Back to the boardroom with Black Women's Wall Street Incorporated.
Hey, you are back with the boardroom with Black Women's Wall Street Inc. This is Jacoy.
This is Latoya.
And this is Festina. Welcome back to the boardroom. Glad to have you.
Yes, we have had a phenomenal interview with Kristen Geez. This was really, really good.
It was good.
Kristen, thank you so much for being on our show today. We really appreciate you coming on board, and please share again how people can get in contact with you.
Absolutely. First, can I just say thank you guys for doing what you're doing, because you guys are making opportunities for us and we don't get a space all the time. And so I appreciate the work that y'all are doing.
Thank you.
Kristen Geez on everything, but more importantly, follow them to get to me.
Come on now. Follow, like, and share.
Subscribe.
And subscribe on our
subscribe.
YouTube channel.
Yes,
Get it. And on iHeartRadio. Come on, get in.
Fishbowl.
Yeah.
And KCAA.
Yeah, we everywhere.
Everything.
All right. So, Festina,
Yes.
please let the people know how they can invest in Black Women's Wall Street
Now,
Inc.
listen, support our radio show. We have commercial and ad packages, okay?
Yeah.
You support us, you support all the women that we serve.
That's right.
We also have our Ideas to Inception program going on right now, and we're talking about the fundamental and financial principles about entrepreneurship. Everybody needs this. Everybody. And then you know what, of course, Beauty and Brains. We want to spotlight Black women in business who just need a little attention and a little support. That's what we do.
That's
Jacoy?
what we do. All right, well, let me tell y'all how y'all connect with us again. So our website is www.blackwomenswallstreet.org/the boardroom. Women's is plural and possessive. All right, you can hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at The Boardroom Radio Show, on Twitter at Boardroom_radio, and LinkedIn at The Boardroom Radio.
That's right. So please follow, and share.
And subscribe.
And subscribe.
Yes.
And can I just say thank you to Adi with Dianu.com for this fabulous top. I feel so great in it.
And you look great.
Thank you. I feel regal.
She feels
yes,
regal.
I feel regal. Regal. Yes.
Yes, y'all. So y'all ready to do this again next Monday?
Yes,
we're going to do it
absolutely.
again. And you know what? Speaking of next Monday, we have another powerhouse.
Oh,
I mean, we just can't have.
We just keep coming.
It's getting gooder and gooder. We have Michaela Gibson. Michaela Gibson, she is actually going to be coming to us and talking to us about the balance. We talked about that a little bit today, about the balance. She is a mom, she is a wife, but she's also an actress. She's had some really nice gigs. One of my favorite shows, The Walking Dead. What y'all know about dating?
Girl,
not a thing.
A little bit.
I don't do anything Walking Dead.
Well, just so y'all know, season 10 is now on Netflix tonight. That's our family time. Like our family time, we crawl up in the bed. CJ included. We crawl up in the bed. My coworker. We crawl up in bed and we watch The Walking Dead. So season 10 is on Netflix. So all of the seasons, and so I need to stop promoting, Walking Dead. I'm sorry. Okay, it's all about.
That's what they do.
Okay, but it's because of Michaela Gibson. Michaela Gibson, we are glad that you will be with us
Monday.
next week.
Yes,
next week. All right, ladies.
Same time.
Same bad time. Same bad channel.
Yes.
All right.
Boardroom.
So thank you for being with us here at the boardroom with Black Women's Wall Street Inc.
Yes.
Where you will always have a seat at the table.